here. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Om Adyaye Namaha. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you'd like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps to support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. And this video is about the month of March. Now, this is the most life-changing month so far this year because we have so many things happening. Now we have Saturn, which will be entering into Pisces. Saturn has been in Aquarius for 2.5 years. So this is a very significant change and changes everything. We also have 2 eclipses, which will change us drastically, and one very rare eclipse at the very end. So understand that we're already feeling the eclipse. The eclipse is not just that day, but the closer we get to it, the more intense the events. I'm going to have separate videos for everything. So this is just a very small breakdown of what I see, and then I'll go into vast detail into upcoming videos. So we start off the month on March 1st when Mercury conjuncts Rahu. So we can have unexpected happenings in the markets, in trade. I think this is when the tariffs come into play. Ups and downs in crypto, highs and lows. So I think that the tariffs trigger something in the markets. So you can have unexpected highs and lows. There can be cyber attacks, obsessive thoughts or obsessions with learning, unexpected accidents while traveling. Problems with electricity and communication can happen. The media, lies in communication or scammers. Ups and downs with merchants and businesses. Be careful of scams in crypto, money, and trade, because we still have Mars in Purnarvasu, transiting in Purnarvasu, which brings a lot of scams and money scams and crypto scams. This is when Trump released his meme coin as well. So just to give you an idea. Then we have on March 1st as well, Venus will start to retrograde. So I made an entire video about Venus and Pisces, so I'm just going to go over quickly the padas and what will happen. And in my other video, if you want a more detailed report, you can check out that one. So the retrograde will happen on March 1st until April 12th, but it won't be the same the whole time because it goes into different padas, which are sections of this nakshatra, and each one has a different theme. From March 1st until March 14th will be in the 4th pada. So this is ruled by Scorpio. So there'll be themes of occult, deep traumas, inheritances, shared resources, and money we get but we didn't earn, insurances, and taxes. So money can come during this time out of nowhere, but you have to spend it in the correct way and in the most righteous way, or you can incur karma. Then from March 14th to March 20th, it will be in the 3rd pada, which is ruled by Libra. So it'll bring in themes about relationships, marriage, the law, society. And remember, we're reviewing these things because Venus will be in retrograde. So this can bring past relationships forward. Again, the money that comes in the 1st pada can be from something from the past as well. So relationships, marriage, the law, society. And then from March 20th until March 25th will be in the 1st pada of Leo. So there can be an expansion of children, a revision in regards to children, creativity, learning, mantra sadhana, romance, speculation, the mentality of leaders and leadership qualities, power, the throne. And then on March 25th till March 31st, Venus will transit Purva Bhadrapada in pada 4. Now this pada can bring out extreme spiritual enlightenment. During this time is also Navratri, which is a time period where we worship the goddesses and the energy is heightened for spiritual practice. So it's a great time to be doing spiritual practice, especially with the eclipse. You can bring also wealth out of nowhere. Fires and killing of deer and birds can happen. Themes of affairs can happen. Mistreatment of family and resources, especially the resources of the masses by the government. Violence and anger. Disputes over property. Immoral activities. Terrorist activities. Destroying the environment. Dark tech can happen. Because we also have Rahu here. The true node Rahu is already in Purva Bhadrapada right now. And I made an entire video about this and Saturn's transit in Purva Bhadrapada Pada 4 as well, because it's the most extreme pada, and you can check it out on my channel. Now, Saturn has been combust since April 25th and will be until April 26th. So how this plays out depends on your chart, because there are certain yogs depending on what house it's in, and it can be good or it can be detrimental depending on your chart and the strength of your planets. But for the world, this is the leaders have more power over the masses and the population. So this is why we're seeing a lot of events unfold. On March 13th to 14th, we have the lunar eclipse, which will affect much of Asia, Australia, Africa, North America, South America, Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, and Antarctic. It will be in Leo, which is all about creativity, prosperity, procreation. In modern times, this is used for prostitution and ego, attributed to entertainers like Madonna, who sell sex a lot. This becomes a battleground, a conflict between the ego, love, and harmony. It is good for wealth.
Hey everybody, I just had to add this one part. So this eclipse will be in Uttara Falguni, and Uttara Falguni is the placement of perfection because we're blending the energies of Virgo with Leo. It is the nakshatra of the affairs that we must attend to in the kingdom after we achieve the throne in Magha. So this is the leaders making all the changes to the government. And it can be very cruel and sharp and intense, but it can also bring wealth through family and ultimate knowledge, bringing a sense of independence and individuality. But it can also be a master at fraud and deceit, and we will see this in many leaders and people in high positions of society. Now we also have the sun and Saturn, which will be in Purva Bhadrapada, which is the very cruel nakshatra in the fourth pada. So the agenda of the elites is very cruel and very hidden to change the way the government is run. And the people will rebel against this. This is the beginning. And then it will start escalating throughout the month until the next month as well, where people will start pushing back against the leaders.
We can also see breakups in relationships can happen, past life relationships coming back to the forefront. A split from Hollywood or Hollywood stars can happen. Technology that is developed for creativity, certain leaders or celebrities going to jail, divorces, sudden pregnancies can happen, overdoses as well can occur. Now, Ketu will be in Virgo at this time, but very close to the moon in Leo. And then in May, Ketu transit into Leo, and then we'll have Rahu transit into Aquarius. So we're going to start seeing these themes play out early because of this eclipse. Now, Ketu, when it goes into Leo, and because it's so close here, it can create uncontrollable behavior as Ketu acts like Mars. So there can be sudden rage and violence, like someone having a huge ego that can't stop their anger and wanting attention. People can be angry about what is happening within their own governments and the direction that the government is going. But it's all about leaders, celebrities, and entertainment. People can develop more egotistical traits. Pride can heighten, especially with those in positions of power and authority. They may think it has to go their way or no way. They will demand respect. And it's a bit concerning because there is a potential for a health crisis later this month, setting down rules that make exaggerated regulations and a false sense of righteousness. And this is definitely going to be Trump and Trudeau, because this is their first house. On the opposite side, we can actually see spiritual leaders and siddhas who rise, who have the knowledge of the ancestors and bring wisdom from higher sources and come to shed light and positivity on the masses with a sense of wisdom and dharma. Many will come from lineages of gurus and ancient knowledge from past lives. Will be highlighting Saturn in Purva Bhadrapada, which is a very extreme nakshatra, which can bring up very extreme events of violence. Like I said, I'll make an entire video about this. On March 15th, Mercury retrogrades in Pisces. This will conjunct Venus retrograde. There'll be an exact conjunction, I believe, on the 11th, but Mercury won't be in retrograde, and then it'll retrograde and it will be conjunct as well within 3 degrees. And now this isn't bad because Venus is exalted and Mercury is in debilitation, which creates a yoga which makes both planets operate at a very normal level. So instead, of Mercury being debilitated, it won't be. It'll be like it's in its own sign. And Venus will be acting like it's in its own sign as well. On March 17th, the Sun will conjunct Rahu. Leaders will be operating with a heightened egotistical state more than usual. There could be ego clashes, my way or no way, like I mentioned, and some can hit heights in fame or go viral for creative projects or hit the heights in leadership roles. Being overly ambitious can lead to some being guided by illusion rather than truth. This can also lead to people doing anything they can to get fame on social media. Now on March 20th, we have the equinox. So this is the balance between Shiva and Shakti, between the dark and the light, the moon and the sun. So this is a great time for spiritual practice. On March 20th as well, we have Mercury conjunct Rahu again, because Mercury is retrograde, and we will be revisiting whatever happened on the 1st. We will be revisiting those matters. So that can be matters of trade, the stock market, all of this. So this is kind of why I do believe that the tariffs will come, but they'll have to go and revise what they were doing, and that may have to change. And then on March 21st, Venus will conjunct Saturn. This gives a sense of reality sets in relationships, and money matters really sets in. And that could have to do with the changes that the government is implementing, and then maybe they're not as realistic. It can also bring stability as well to relationship matters and business partnerships and even money. So it depends on your chart. On March 21st, the Sun will conjunct Mercury. This is Kazemi. So trade will get better on that particular day. On March 29th, then we have the partial solar eclipse, which will be affecting Europe, North Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Atlantic, Arctic. And then right after that, Saturn will be going into Pisces. Now, Saturn will come to create boundaries on the AI that has been running rapid in creative fields, new regulations on the market. There's also a possibility of mad cow disease or something to do with bird flu. Cults will emerge. There'll be a lot more things with space travel, fake alien invasions, all of that. Things to do with the oceans, death occurring in the ocean, space, and the sky. That will continue. Bodies of water, death by trains, psychological issues, mental health issues, programs and institutions, mass shootings with weapons, mass deaths. The price of oil may skyrocket, especially in the US, and death from cancer. But this can also bring extreme spiritual enlightenment because Saturn is sadhana. So if you have a strict routine and discipline, this can lead you to the astral realm. This is the best time for spiritual practice during this eclipse. This is a very rare eclipse, which we'll talk about. People struggle with Saturn in Pisces is because they lack discipline. And Saturn in Pisces is not that great because it doesn't know how to create boundaries in water. How do you do that? How do you have discipline when there are no edges to anything? I've seen people struggle with this and they end up being late all the time, or they can't come through on their appointments. They start wanting to do drugs and escape. And so as long as you have a sense of discipline, then you'll be fine. And that's up to you. And that's something you can cultivate or do mantras in order to cultivate. But I'll have an entire video about that and what you can do about it. This eclipse will be in Uttara Bhadrapada. So this is the thunder and the rain in the skies. Pisces represents the open sky. So with so much happening at the sky, with the drones, the mysterious fog, the so-called UFOs, all of that has been leading up to this eclipse. And I feel like they are testing people to see how are people going to react. And then this can be that Project Blue Bee moment where they put something in the sky and try to make people believe there is some kind of alien invasion. There's a huge agenda at play, and they're going to put this agenda out. Now, are you going to fall for the agenda, or are you going to completely awaken? There's going to be two versions. People completely fall for the agenda and go into fear, or people who now see through it and they have this huge awakening like people did during COVID. A lot of people woke up to how the world really is, and things were never the same again. So this is another moment where that can happen, because this can cause an event with mass chaos. Saturn will be in the nakshatra for dark technology that is used for ritual purposes against the masses, and will be the entire month and so on until May. This is ruled by Adhir Budhanya. which is the ruler of this nakshatra, but is a form of Rudra, of the skies, of destruction of the skies. This can be about spy technology. This is a change that must occur so that we can acquire knowledge. The knowledge is the key for liberation. So you can get a type of knowledge that is so secret that you cannot tell anybody, but it completely changes your life forever. It is something that you may have to hide from the world, but it will help you rise in life. So if you don't give in to fear, you will rise in life. This is why this is a huge awakening for many. It is the desire to be free from bondage and a sense of letting go. This is in the fourth pada in Scorpio. Like I mentioned how Venus will be transiting here too. This is dealing with the laws, religion, shared resources, foreign nations, higher education, the occult. There's a possibility now. I just have to tell you about possibilities. There's a possibility of an epidemic or a pandemic or health scare, diseases, as per the story of this pada by Lord Shiva. This is also aspecting Virgo, which is health. Receiving resources and a large amount of money from someone else and an outside source, the government or litigation, a judgment. But this wealth must be used dharmically and be truly yours to begin with. If not, it can cause negative karma for yourself, and you should not use it for illegal means. Now, that reminds me a lot of during COVID. So there's a chance of a health scare, and there's a chance of getting money that you can't use for the wrong purposes. Remember, during COVID, people took advantage of that, and they're still paying it off now. They received that karma. So I'm not saying that that's exactly what will happen. I don't know, but this is a possibility. The other reason is because there's also themes related to foreign nations, world organizations, ministries of foreign affairs, foreign politics, treaties with foreign nations, and foreign trade, import, export, foreign shipping, the Navy, science, higher education. And then on March 29th, Saturn will conjunct Rahu. And so with Saturn and Rahu conjunction, and I made an entire video about this called March 2025. And you can check out that where I go deep into this. But we can see protests and revolutions against the government and a call for the upholding of personal rights and freedoms, similar to 1968. This will be prominent in the US as it's in its fourth house of the homeland, but also for the world, especially in Europe. So there could also be a prominent rights activist or a celebrity that can die. That will be the catalyst for this. But then this will be hijacked by the government, planned by the elites, and it's not naturally occurring. A revolution with maybe women's issues, abortion, gay rights, the markets, war. I also see a dip in Bitcoin at this time, meme coin scams, healthcare system, health issues can pop up, a false flag event, a massive tsunami or massive weather event is very likely. Destructive events on water or ships. But also all month, there is so much energy of spirituality that this is great for yoga, meditation, going to see a counselor, therapist, practitioners of Tantra, occult sciences, monks, hermits, yogis, philosophers, poets, good for making any kind of creative art, extraordinary abilities, enhancing your abilities that you have innate, your cities and charity. So whatever happens, what you need to do is focus on your spirituality 100% so that you can hit new heights. You have the ability to do anything you want in this world. You have the illusion that you can't. So you have to break through that illusion. And once you break through that illusion, you will see your own power and you'll realize that fear never existed in the first place. So this is your solution to that. And wake yourself up. This is a time for global awakening. So that's just a bit about that. And like I said, I'll have more videos breaking this down further. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.